I was hoping that your title with this, your title would be something along the lines of Brad the viral tweeter or something like that.
Viral Brad or something.
Because you went straight viral today.
Look, my Twitter account has been all but dead for like 10 years, and I haven't really used it that much. A little bit more recently, I've been getting a little bit more into it again. And I've had an interesting week of sharing content. If you're not following me on Twitter, check out 5 times August on Twitter. And I posted something today that I was out in the front yard watching the kids ride bikes on the street, and I had my phone. I was looking at it, and I saw that they were going to cancel 6 of Dr. Seuss's books. We just talked about this like 2 episodes ago about Dr. Seuss. Yes. And at that time, I wasn't thinking like, oh, they're actually going to cancel Dr. Seuss. We were talking about, his controversial aspects of his books. And so anyway, today I was like, oh, wow, they're really actually canceling him. And so I posted this tweet, which I really didn't think anybody was going to see, because usually when I tweet, about 2 people see it, and then that's it. I'll get like 1 interaction or something like that. Today I tweeted this. I said, isn't it great we live in a world where Cardi B's WAP can be a #1 hit song while 80-year-old children's books are being canceled? We finally got our priorities in order, haven't we? So this has been now retweeted 7,335 times, and I haven't been able to keep up with any of the interactions, really. I've had some big accounts retweeting it, and 29,000 likes. Somebody took a screenshot of this, shared it in a Facebook group. That's been shared 3,000 times as well, if not more at this point. So I've been inundated, like, watching this. I've never had like a viral tweet storm before of like people just like coming at me with all this stuff. So like, I posted this. I've been just amazed at what's been happening. I decided to do some self-promotion down here for my latest single. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, if I got your attention, check out my music. So what happened was, I guess, people connected with this. And my viewpoint was sort of like, isn't this a crazy world we live in? Like, what's our standard of what's morally acceptable? Is it an 80-year-old children's book that has some, pages in it that you can either skip over or just not read the book at all? Like, why do we have to just, after Dr. Seuss has sold 650 million books over the last 80 plus years. And today they decided no more.
Right.
Unacceptable.
It's fascinating because, when I first heard that they were going to be removing these 6 books, now this is the publisher making this decision, right? They're saying, hey, these books are no longer, they have culturally insensitive things in them. We are no longer going to publish them. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to throw this out there, right? Why don't, if there's something in there that is so offensive, right? And once again, we talked about this just 2 episodes ago. There's something that's in there that's so offensive. This is Dr. Seuss we're talking about, right? Yeah. Every page is kind of its own thing. Why not just remove that page or 2 that have to do with those specific rhymes? Like, why not just remove those? It's not going to destroy the story of Dr. Seuss, and I feel stupid even saying that.
I don't even think you have to do that. I think it's at this point, if people are going to handhold us the whole way through every media choice we make, it's just insulting. You don't need to remove anything from the book. You either read it or you don't. You either buy it or you don't. We have to start making these decisions in our culture where if something, vote with your dollar, right? That's what they say. Like, if something upsets you, if a movie comes out that you find offensive, well, or you're hearing offensive things about it, then just don't go see it. They'll know you didn't see it because they'll know by the sales, right? And so I started getting some interesting feedback from this tweet because a lot of people agreeing with it. Wow, what a crazy world we live in. Yeah, this is the point that we're at in society. Then I get the other side, which threw me for a loop.
Before we get into this, one thing pointed out by Vilter, this was done on Dr. Seuss's birthday.
Yeah.
of all things.
I did not know that.
Right. Well, no, not your tweet.
Uh-huh.
Them deciding no longer to publish his 6 books on his birthday, of all things.
Yeah, of all things, of course. So I started getting the negative feedback as well, and that's been the real adventure of this story, because I instantly was called a racist because I supported racism in the Dr. Seuss books, but I don't support women's empowerment, which is apparently what Cardi B's WAP is all about.
Oh, that's good.
It's a strong women's empowerment song. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And the other argument was we're not playing WAP for children. And I was like, are you kidding me? If you don't think that a #1 song is being heard by children around this country, you can find porn on Twitter on accident, right? You can find porn on anything, on any of these social media sites. To have it straight up beating through top 40 radio every day, you don't think that kids these days are going to be hearing this stuff? It's crazy.
Just for the record, for those who don't know what WAP means, it means wet ass pussy. That is the.
I wasn't going to say it.
Well, there I am. I'm throwing it out there for you. So just so we're all on the same page, it's not a derogatory term outside of it being a derogatory, whatever, but so that is what it is. And WAP is the #1 song in America right now. So
I don't know if it still is. I know it came out last year, but my point is it's a very popular song by a very popular artist. And it's a very, my opinion is it's a very derogatory song. I don't think it's empowering women. What is that teaching young girls? They don't have to be 3, 4, 5 years old, like the age to read a Dr. Seuss book. I don't think here's my first concern. How many racists have we brewed up from reading Dr. Seuss? And I'd like to compare that to how many young hussy,
right.
girls have we brewed up from WAP being out there. I'd like to compare those numbers. I don't have them on me. It's just a question off the top of my head.
The simple thought of a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old seeing some imagery and being like, yeah, I'm racist. Screw those Asian people, or whatever. Like, yeah, it's like the most amazing mental gymnastics you can possibly think. The idea that like we're going to, there are people out there who are really screwed up and they are horrible at raising their kids. Brad, you sent me a tweet about that the other day, but we won't talk about that now. But man, there are some really bad parents out there, ridiculously bad parents.
Of course there are.
But when you look at, what's worse, reading these books, do we have footage of these kids, Brad?
Yeah. So that was one of the things that came up was like, oh, you really think kids are singing this song? So I looked into it. Oh, the first thing I wanted to point out was whether or not supporting Dr. Seuss is racist. Okay, apparently. And I just wanted to point this out for anybody. I saw this picture today in my feed as people were pointing out. This is Michelle Obama,
racist,
a strong Black woman reading Dr. Seuss at a Dr. Seuss party with Thing 1 and Thing 2 and the Cat in the Hat, and every kid there is wearing those racist little hats. But does this make Michelle Obama racist?
They might as well have a white hood on them.
When was this? 5, 6 years ago or something? It was still socially acceptable. She didn't seem bothered by it. So anyway, back to the kids. This is a Dance Moms clip of these young girls. I don't even really want to play it. Just know that it's there.
Don't do
okay.
it.
This is a 3-year-old. I played it just to make sure the song was there. Because the internet's a funky place. 3-year-old baby dances on Cardi B's WAP. This was on some sort of family show, Yeah, it's like America's Got Talent kind of show. So, if you don't think that this song is getting to young kids' ears, you have
by the way, through their parents, which
through their
maybe,
parents.
I mean, their parents are probably showing them this music to begin with, right? You know, like
Yeah, or their friends or older brothers or siblings. And there's one more that I saw here too. Pull this up. This was called WAP, but it's the Kids Bop version. And now Kids Bop, the brand, hasn't done this song as far as I can tell. They just named it this. But this is a girl who's in her preteens, and she's singing a parody of the song. But she has to at least know the song to some degree to parody it, right?
Of course.
So she's obviously heard the original somehow. So when other kids see this and they see her parody, at some point, you know, they're going to wonder what the other version is as well. So there's a lot of intertwining web things here. Now, it's crazy. And I actually had people today find me on Facebook, and I was basically being harassed today and called a racist, and I had to change up some of my privacy settings. And I was like, wow, vultures, man. Vultures. Crazy. They sought me out and called me names. It was crazy.
I mean,
just crazy.
That's the power of the internet. They'll find you, Brad. Which is crazy.
Crazy.
And like that tweet is so harmless. That's the most, and like somehow people have been so offended by that tweet, so offended that a children's book can be compared to a song called Wet Ass Pussy. And they would rather have the song versus the guy who wrote the children's book.